let's begin this evening or this afternoon, and good morning and good evening and good night from all around the world. Welcome to this now 10th special STEAM seminar hosted by the 4D Frame Experience Workshop and all sorts of other organizations. Thank you all for coming. We are truly an international group tonight. We've got people from almost every time zone on the planet, it seems like. So it's great to have you all here. Tonight we'll have two presentations as is normal. First, we will hear from Mr. Hogul Park, who is the inventor of 4D frames. And then we will have a presentation from a team from Northern Europe on mathematical modeling. And our very own Kristóf Fenyvesi will give us a tour through that, will be a part of that team as well. So I'm being joined by Charlotte Graham, who will be helping to moderate this evening. Would you introduce yourself a little, Charlotte?
Yeah, I'm Charlotte Graham. I'm originally from Norway, but I now live in Sweden. And I'm very happy to help moderate this event. And I will keep an eye on the chat as well. So if there's any questions, then you can write here and I will bring them up later.
She stole my very next line. Yes, please.
Sorry.
No, it's really quite all right. If you have questions that you'd like to ask any of the speakers, please put them in the chat, and we will have a question and answer time at the end. If they're particularly timely, we might even be able to interrupt the speaker and get a quick response. So without further ado, then I'd like to turn the meeting over to Mr. Park. Mr. Park, thank you.
예, 오늘 여러분 만나서 너무 반갑고, 이 4D 프레임을 통해 갖고 이렇게 세계 여러분들 같이 소통할 수 있게 돼서 너무 반갑습니다.
Welcome to today's or tonight's session, or to the session of this morning. Hello everyone around the planet Earth, and I'm so delighted to communicate with you regarding the topic of 4D frame and convergence education. And thank you so much for joining us today.
예,
Let us begin the session.
네, 제가 제일 잘하는 거는 이게 4D 프레임만 제일 잘합니다. 그 외에는 제가 잘 못하는 것을 이해해 주시기 바랍니다.
Actually, I'm not good at everything, but I can say that I'm really good at 4D frame at least.
자, 그러면 시작을 하도록 하겠습니다.
Now let's begin. Screen sharing. Is the screen sharing works well? Okay, thank you so much. Yes.
아, 키우자 이렇게.
네, 키운 거. 예.
그렇죠. 네, 오케이. 오늘 저는 4D 프레임의 발명 원리와 놀이교육 창의 교육에 대해서 발표를 하겠습니다.
So today my topic is the fundamentals of 4D frame and creative play-based learning.
예, 제 이름은 박호걸입니다.
My name is Hogul Park, and
예, 저는 4D 프레임을 발명하고 그 전에는 건축 모형 만드는 일을 오랫동안 했습니다.
I am the inventor of 4D frame, but before that, I was an architectural model expert for a long time as well.
예, 그래서 지금 제가 부족했던 그런 공부도 지금 같이 하고 있습니다.
And I am studying as well, so I am a student by myself even for now.
예. 그 살다 보면은 그 크고 작은 수많은 문제들을 만나게 됩니다. 지진, 태풍, 홍수, 뭐 코로나19, 그 글로벌 경제위 같은 거대한 규모의 국가나 기관들이 나서 해결해 줍니다. 그러나 작은 규모의 문제들, 일상 속의 문제들은 개인이 해결해 갈 수밖에 없습니다. 그리고 이때 문제 해결력이 필요한 순간이 옵니다.
So in our life, we encounter numerous troubles, so many troubles we face: earthquake, typhoon, flood, global economic crisis, and even the COVID-19 pandemic. Huge problems like these can be settled by authorities such as the government. But in case of smaller daily life troubles, each of us have to solve our own problems. This is the moment when we are in need of problem-solving skills.
자, 4D 프레임에 대해서 소개를 하겠습니다. 4D 프레임은 그 4디멘전 플러스 프레임이라고 합성어를 만들었습니다.
So let me introduce about 4D frame. So this the 4D frame. The word 4D frame is made of 4 dimension and the frame. So this is made of 2 words.
제가 제3의 흙이라고 이렇게 표현을 했는데 처음에 4D 프레임을 만들었을 때 다양한 것이 만들어졌습니다.
So I describe 4D frame as the third soil as well, because many things were made out of 4D frame at the beginning. And
그래서 이것을 다른 표현으로 어떻게 표현할 수 있을까 하다가 흙을 보면서 진짜 흙은 아니지만 흙에 갖고 있는 그런 그 가치를 보면서 흙에 비유를 하게 됐습니다.
So I came to an idea that this is similar to soil. So since you can make everything you imagine with soil, so this even though this 4D frame is not made of soil, but it can have some similar properties.
4D 프레임을 한마디로 요약하자면은 유연성이라고 할 수 있습니다.
So the one word that describes 4D frame the best is flexibility.
문제 해결력은 행복한 삶의 질을 결정해 줍니다.
Problem solving skills determine happiness and quality of life.
네. 그렇기 때문에 아이들이 문제 해결력을 함양할 수 있도록 교육할 필요가 있습니다.
Therefore, we need to teach our children how to obtain these problem solving skills.
네, 그래서 저는 4D 프레임을 만들었습니다.
That is why I made 4D frame.
네. 여기 보면은 중간에 있는 것들은 그 4.5m의 시에르핀스키 피라미드입니다.
So let's see the picture in the middle. This is Sierpinski Pyramid with 4.5 meters of height.
네, 이런 것들은 혼자 할 수 없기 때문에 우리가 함께 해야 됩니다.
Nobody can build this alone. We need to do it together.
네, 이때 그리고 옆에 있는 그 와카와타 타워는 3년 전에 미국 뉴욕에서 했던 겁니다.
Years ago, I went to New York and built this 6-meter high water tower as well. The picture on the right.
저는 문제 해결력 저는 원래 모형 만드는 일을 했습니다. 오랫동안 4D 프레임을 하기 전에 한 20년 넘게 건축 모형을 했었는데 옆에 보이는 것들은 황룡사 구축 목록이고 여기에 오른쪽에 있는 거는 제가 직접 만든 20분의 1 모형을 만들었습니다.
Before developing 4D frame, I was originally an architecture model expert. I had more than 20 years of experience in this field. So the picture on the right is the 1/120 scale model that I made of the 황룡사 9-story pagoda.
그리고 지금 또 오른쪽에 보는 거는 우리나라 경복궁이라고 하는 오래된 그 왕궁입니다. 그런 것들을 저희가 1987년도에 축척 8분의 1로 직접 모형을 만들게 됐습니다.
So in central Seoul, there's a palace called Gyeongbokgung, one of the central palace of the Joseon dynasty, and the picture on the right is the 1/8 scale made back in 1987. This is still displayed in Seoul, Korea.
네, 여기 오늘 함께하는 중에 몇 분 이거 보신 분들이 계실 겁니다.
Some of them might have seen this before as well.
네. 자, 그리고 여러 가지 건축 모형을 만들다 보면 자연스럽게 각기 다른 건축 재료의 특성들을 잘 파악하게 되었고 그 중에는 나무가 갖는 특성을 주의 깊게 탐구하게 되었습니다.
So while I create various types of architecture models, I gained detailed knowledge of each architectural materials, and what I focused on was wood.
네, 한국의 고건축은 주 재료가 나무였기 때문에 가능합니다.
Wood is the main material for Korean traditional architecture, which was my main field regarding architectural modeling.
예, 여기 보시면은 이렇게 이거는 그 만드는 과정이고 여기 보시면은 이게 완성된 거죠. 그 사이에 이런 과정이 있습니다.
So as you see the pictures of you can see the picture on the left and on the right. Those parts that without completed roofs are the progress. Progress during building a traditional Korean house, and the left part, which has a completed roof, is the displaying the completed scale of the Korean traditional house.
유리나 콘크리트 경우 내부가 꽉 차여져 있기 때문에 외부의 환경의 열이나 냉각 때문에 변하면서 팽창하거나 수축하면서 깨지거나 균열이 갑니다.
So in the case of glass or concrete structures, instance the inner part of these kind of structures or buildings is fully filled. If there is any change on the rapid change on the external environment with heat or cooling, these structures may crack or even break down due to the process of expanding or shrinking. It is the reaction of the external environmental change.
갈대와 대나무 같은 나무는 그 유연하게 흔들리는 본질이 속이 비어 있기 때문입니다. 즉 빈 공간이 있기 때문에 유연합니다.
The reeds and bamboo are swaying very flexibly. They go up, they go this way and that way, and they go up left, or they go right, because they are hollows. That means they are empty. They have empty inner parts inside. In other words, they are flexible because there is an empty space.
예. 그래서 이러한 구조적인 특징 때문에 외부 환경에 유연성을 가질 수 있습니다.
Thanks to these structural features, it is possible to have flexibility in the external environment.
예, 콘크리트 구조물의 경우는 이 하나의 덩어리이기 때문에 이렇게 그 위치를 옮길 수 없고 파괴될 수밖에 없습니다.
Concrete structures are unable to be relocated even if there's a case of in need without being destroyed.
예, 조립과 이제 한국의 고건축은 못을 쓰지 않고 그 나무의 조각들을 이용해 조립하는 형태로 지어집니다.
Assembly and disassembly. Traditional Korean houses are built in the form of assembling various pieces of wood without using nails.
어떤 문제가 생겼을 때 쉽게 해체하고 이동하여 다시 재조립할 수가 있습니다.
That is because we need to easily disassemble, move, and reassemble when any problem occurs or should any needs occur.
예. 그래서 그 유연성과 조립의 해체, 그래서 나무에서 발견된 빈 공간으로 만들어진 유연성, 그리고 한국 고건축 모형의 특징인 조립과 해체, 이러한 특징에서 아이디어를 얻어 탄생한 것이 바로 포디 프레임입니다.
Flexibility and assembly, disassembly. The flexibility created by the empty space found in wooden materials and the assembly and disassembly characteristic of traditional Korean architecture models. That is how the 4D frame idea was born.
그래서 자, 여러분 그 공룡이 왜 멸망을 했을까요?
Does anybody know why the dinosaurs extinct?
네, 공룡은 덩치가 크고 힘이 있었지만은 굉장히 환경에 적응을 못해서 없어졌습니다.
Dinosaurs were absolutely large and powerful, but they became extinct because they did not manage to familiarize themselves into a new environment.
그저 환경에 적응을 못했기 때문에 좀 사라진 것입니다.
So they failed to adapt into a new environment.
그래서 지금 제가 이제 영상을 하나 보여드릴 건데요.
So I'm going to show you a video.
네, 100원짜리 작은 구멍에다가 실험하는 걸 한번 딱딱한 거와 그 플렉시블한 거에 이게 그 실험한 걸 보여줄 겁니다.
So we are going to use a coin, a hard object. So we will let the coin inside a hole made of a hard or soft materials. Let's see.
자, 함께 보겠습니다.
So this is small
Yeah.
coin.
네, 100원짜리
101.
딱딱한 재료입니다. 이렇게 딱딱한 거.
Pretty hard. You can see.
네.
This.
100원짜리 구멍이 당연히 통과하겠죠. 이렇게.
Goes in.
네.
Has no problem for now.
네, 똑같은 크기에 문제가 없을 때
Goes into the hole. Well,
네.
okay, looks fine. Looks
이게
fine.
문제가 없을 때는 딱딱한 거나 종이나 상관없이 괜찮습니다.
So you didn't find any difference so
이제
far.
문제가
but
왔죠. 코로나가 온
now
것처럼 이제. 동전에
like
크게
this.
큰 겁니다, 이제.
We have a problem like
네.
COVID-19.
자, 지금 보면은 딱딱한 거에는 통과할 수가 없는 거를 볼 수가 있죠.
So this coin cannot enter a hard material hole,
네.
hard material hole.
자, 종이는
But with a paper,
페이퍼는 이게 통과가 되죠. 접을 수 있기 때문에.
it can
예, 저는
pass.
예, 이게 바로 유연성이라고 생각을 합니다.
So this is the flexibility from my mind.
자, 다시 이제 포디 프레임을 갖고 이제 실험을 하고 있습니다.
Now let's see another
포디
example
프레임을 이렇게
with
굽을
poly
수가
frame.
있고 각을 마음대로 만들 수가 있습니다.
You can bend it, or you can make an angle you want.
만약에
what you want.
이 튜브가 이게 딱딱하면은 통과가 안 되겠죠, 이렇게.
If the tube is really
네,
hard like a wood,
딱딱하다면은
it cannot. We won't be able to like assemble.
이거
the two
눌러지면서
parts.
타원이 되는 게 중요해요.
But, yeah,
자, 이제 들어가죠, 이게.
since this is flexible, you can do this.
예.
Bend it or make whatever you want.
이게 바로 유연성 때문에 가능한 겁니다.
This is the power of flexibility.
저는 처음에는 이렇게 그 부드러운 걸 하지 않았습니다. 딱딱한 걸로 했습니다.
Actually, at the beginning, when at the first part of when I developed poly frame, at the first stage, I tried with a hard material.
딱딱한 것들은 튼튼하지만은 제한이 있다는 것을 제가 알게 됐습니다. 경험을 통해서.
It is stable, but it has some limits. That's what I realized.
그래서 어떻게 하면은 그거를 뛰어넘을까 생각을 하다가 종이에서 아이디어를 얻었습니다.
So I have think of many alternatives, and I got my own inspiration from paper.
네. 자, 포디 프레임은 블록 형태 같은 경우 쌓는 개념이 아니라 유연성에 의해서 벌어진 연결원 구멍에 연결발 들어가면서 고정되는 개념입니다.
Poly frame is not a concept of stacking like a block type education material, but a concept of connection of frame and connector using its flexibility.
자, 포디 프레임은 연결봉과 연결봉을 이용해 자유로운 구조물을 만들 수가 있습니다.
You can make free structures using the connectors and connecting rods.
상황에 따라 연결발을 자유롭게 구부리고 가위로 자르고 길이를 원하는 대로 내가 원하는 대로 만들 수가 변형시킬 수가 있습니다.
It is a teaching material with a great flexibility, as you can freely bend the connectors depending on the situation. Cut it with scissors and to make the desired length.
네, 그리고 연결봉을 또 이렇게 더하면은 확장시킬 수가 있습니다.
And if you want a longer frame, you can connect 2 or more frames to make a very longer one.
네, 그 수정을 그래서 쉽게 할 수가 있습니다.
So it is very easy to modify.
우리가 보통 그림을 그리다가 잘못 그리게 되면은 지우개로 지우고 고치고 이게 수정을 하게 되는데,
let's say we draw a certain picture with a pencil. Then if we make a mistake, you can easily erase it. Simply erase that mistake and go on once again.
그렇죠. 공간상에서 내가 원하는 걸 만들었을 때 잘못됐을 때 바로 이렇게 수정을 할 수가 있어야 되는데 이 4D 프레임은 그런 거를 쉽게 할 수가 있습니다.
And then now let's say you don't do it in the paper anymore. You do it with a 3D environment. But so when you build a structure, but you want to there's a mistake. Then you want to edit it. You want to erase that mistake and go on continue from where you
지금 보여드리는 이 화면이 제가 제일 강조하는 부분입니다. 이렇게 자, 여기 보시면은 이게 구부리고 자르고 이렇게 연결할 수 있는 부분이 제가 제일 강조하는 거고 이것들이 포디 프레임의 핵심입니다.
This is the core aspect of 4D frame. You can bend it, you can cut it, you can connect it, you can do whatever you want.
네. 자, 그러면은 이제 그러한 포디 프레임의 유연성을 가지고 만들어진 것들을 이제 설명을 드리면은 여기 계란 같은 3차 곡선이 있습니다. 매듭도 있고 이상한 것 3차 곡선의 다리 같은 거 이렇게 공룡 뭐 낙타 이런 게 있습니다.
So let's see how what you can make with 4D frame. So there's an egg, there's some spiral object structure, large bridge, and even like dragons or dinosaurs.
이게 지금 보여드리는 거는 어떤 직각이나 어떤 직선이 아니라 이 곡선, 3차 곡선, 자연이 만드는 곡선들을 지금 표현하는 걸 지금 보여드리는 겁니다.
So you can see that we are not expressing a straight line. We are expressing a curve.
네.
The most natural form of natural form.
예, 그래서 이렇게 이것도 이제 제가 만들었었는데 이런 그 바꾸라든지 이런 토러스 또 이렇게 그 점치적으로 말하는 이런 것들 창의적인 걸 만들었습니다.
So and I have made many other creative objects as well, like the park sphere, which is named after my own name, and those spiral and those Klein bottles and another like another shape of objects.
예, 제가 예전에 이걸 만들었었는데 이걸 만들었더니만은 스웨덴의 마리아네 댁이 이거를 보고 제 성을 따서 박스피아라고 이름을 지어줬습니다.
I didn't name this sphere on my own. This is so I brought this to Sweden, and yeah, an expert I have met in Sweden has named this as park sphere.
만약에 여러분들이 이런 세로 형태를 만들면은 여러분의 이름을 붙이면은 그 이름이 남을 것입니다.
So I suggest you to make your own sphere, make your own object, and you can name that after your own name. You can do that too. So that is the challenge. So you can say that it's a challenge.
자, 아이들의 문제 그 해결력은 창의적 산물을 머릿속으로 상상한 것으로 길러지는 것이 아니라 이를 직접 만들어보는 과정에서 발달을 합니다. 그 과정에서 아이들은 수많은 시행착오를 겪습니다.
Children's problem-solving ability is not nurtured by imagining creative output in their minds, but is developed in the process of making them in real. In that process, children go through a lot of challenges.
이러한 시행착오의 과정이 산출보다 더 중요합니다.
This process of challenge is more important than the output itself.
포디프레임은 이러한 시행착오를 통한 문제 해결 과정을 체험시킵니다.
Before the frame, children can experience the problem-solving process.
또한 포디프레임은 정적인 산출물뿐만이 아니라 동적인 산출물을 만드는 과정의 체험도 가능하게 합니다.
In addition, 포디프레임 makes it possible to experience the process of creating dynamic output as well as static ones.
지금 하나씩 이제 보겠습니다, 동영상.
So let's see another video.
네. 지금 이제 톱니바퀴도 만들 수가 있습니다. 자, 톱니의 비례식 톱니바퀴.
Principles of gears and
자, 오토마타도 이렇게 만들 수가 있습니다.
you can make automata structures as well. Horses.
그리고 박스를 이용해 가지고 같이 할 수가 있습니다. 자, 여기는 보면은 파리가 개구리가 파리를 잡아먹는 겁니다.
This is a scene of frog eating a fly.
이 테오 얀센 다리를 시스템을 만들고 있습니다. 지금 보면은 테오 얀센 다리를 만들게 됐는데 저희가 테오 얀센과 2009년도에 전시를 같이 하게 됐습니다.
So this is a bridge system developed, imagined by Theo Jansen, who we have made a collaborative display project back in 2009.
그리고 엮기드는 장면.
Weightlifting, like you have seen in the Olympics.
그리고 크랭크, 엔진의 크랭크.
This is crank.
테오 얀센 시스템.
Another Theo Jansen system.
그리고 이제 낮은 데서 높은 데로 올라가는. 낮은 곳에서 높은 데로 올라가는.
It's going from double cone.
이제 물레방아.
Down.
바람 에너지 이제 이렇게.
Water wheel, wind wheel.
가리키면 나선을 지금.
Spiral of Archimedes.
이제 시소를 만드는 무게
seesaw.
아이들은 이런 걸 좋아합니다.
Kids like this, right? Kids like these arms.
자, 휴지통을 만들어서 페달 드레이통, 추석기,
catapult. Let's see. Another catapult.
그리고 레오나르도 다빈치가 만든 투석기도 구현을 했어요.
Catapult made by Leonardo, actually, Leonardo da Vinci.
이 양팔죠.
The double arms, scales.
그래서 날개를 표현해봤어요. 날개.
Also, I have made a wing and
그 원리를 가지고 펭귄을 또 만든.
a penguin is made. This is cute, isn't it?
새.
Bird, another type of bird.
그냥 도르래를 만들었습니다. 무거운 거 들 때 쓰는 도르래.
So this is a mechanical device, mechanical
도르래 이제 2개짜리.
to lift, so weight, like lifting a heavy
이걸로 이제
object.
이런 크레인을 만들었습니다. 전통 크레인.
So this is a traditional style of Korean crane.
그래서 밑에 앞에 보면 톱니바퀴를 이용해서 위에 창의적인 작품을 만들었습니다.
So I have, and you can make some more creative works with applying those what I've seen in previous video.
롤링볼을 또 만들었습니다.
Rolling ball, the ball is rolling down like a roller coaster. And another type of rolling ball.
이제 사이클로이드 곡선입니다.
Cycloid curve. Car is going everywhere.
자동차 조향 장치.
This is the steering wheel of a car.
유니버셜 조인트.
Universal joint.
네.
And very classical bicycle.
네. 이제 이런 동적인 것뿐만이 아니라 최근에는 컴퓨터나 핸드폰을 접목한 메카트로닉스를 또 이렇게 만들었습니다.
So and we have made 40 frame mechatronics as well. An idea of combination with digital devices
네,
as well.
그리고 각 미션에 필요한 전략적 도구를 이용해 여러 측면에서의 경합을 펼치는 메카트로닉스. 지금 보여드리는 장면은 게임 문제로 문제를 성공적으로 해결하는 감상해 보시죠.
필립 인터뷰를
보고 있을 거야. 안 보고. 이건 끝까지 틀고 그다음에 넘어가시는 거죠?
이게 다 올라가면 생각도 없을 텐데.
모자라다고요?
Fascinating.
연구가 되니까. 이제 넘어가죠.
이걸로 끝내요.
이제 이거 뭐 보이죠?
Philip is here.
안녕하세요. 저는 필립입니다. 나는 캐나다에서 오지만 스웨덴에 쓰고 있습니다.
Okay, so let's get back to the presentation once again, and 여기서부터죠?
연결.
네.
Okay.
Let's go back to the presentation. Yes, it works.
네. 자, 만드는 과정에서 나타난 다양한 문제 해결력. 유연성이라는 4D 프레임의 특성 때문에 다양한 모양의 바퀴를 만들 수 있습니다.
Various problem-solving skills leading to the process. With body frames characteristic of flexibility, various shapes of wheels can be made.
자, 주어진 환경과 조건, 자갈길, 잔디밭, 평지, 물 이런 데를 다닐 때 그 문제를 해결하기 위해서 아이들이 고민과 실패 과정을 겪으면서 성장하게 됩니다.
When the given environment and conditions are all different, children can grow up as they go through the process of trouble and failure to solve the problem.
자, 이게 바로 포디프레임이 보여주는 문제 해결력입니다.
This is the problem-solving skill developed with 포디프레임.
자, 이렇게 설명서가 있는 거를 만들면은 설명서에서 따라하면 아이들이 처음에 한두 번은 재미있어하지만 금방 실증을 냅니다.
So when you follow just the instructions, the kids will be interested once or twice at first, but they will soon get bored of it.
자신이 생각 없이 조립 설명서를 따라가는 과정은 초기에는 생각에 마중물 역할을 하지만 계속되면 지루함을 유발합니다.
The process of following the assembly instructions without students' own mind works as a starting point for thinking at first, but it will cause boredom as it continues.
포디프레임은 생각의 마중물 역할을 한 후에 아이들이 주도적으로 창의적인 유연성을 가지고 자기 거를 만듭니다.
포디프레임 has the flexibility to lead creativity in children's initiative after serving as a starting point for thinking.
그래서 아래 보이는 자동차들이 다양한 것들은 아이들의 생각이 다르기 때문에 이런 자동차를 만들 수가 있습니다.
So this is one of the examples. So the key word was a car, but the kids have built various types of cars like this, like a large lorry, starting from a large lorry to like convertible or other many types of cars.
자, 물레방어 경우 대부분 작품은 평평한 곳에서 이렇게 작동이 되도록 만들어졌지만은 자연 속을 관찰하면은 돌과 자갈 등의 바닥의 높이가 다르고 울퉁불퉁한 환경 때문에 잘 작동이 되지 않습니다. 환경에 맞게 계속 수정을 해야 합니다.
In the case of watermills, most works are made to work well on a flat surface. So when installed in the nature, the bottom height is different due to stones and gravels, and it will not work well because of the uneven ground. You have to keep modifying it to suit the surrounding environment.
평평한 걸 한번 보여드리겠습니다.
Let's see how it works in a flat surface.
이렇게 평평한 데서는 잘 작동이 됩니다. 이렇게. 그렇지만은 그렇지만은 이제 포디프레임은 물레방아가 작동하는 원리를 탐과 고민하는 과정을 끊임없이 아이들에게 제공합니다. 바로 이러한 과정에서 아이들이 문제 해결력을 향상시킵니다. 그리고 바로 이것이 포디프레임의 유연한 빈 공간이라는 특성 때문에 가능합니다. 옆에 이러한 과정들을 아이들이 스스로 만든 문제 해결력을 하면서 행복감을 느낍니다.
포디프레임 constantly provides children with the process of exploring and pondering how the water works. This process improves children's problem-solving skills, and this is made possible because of the flexibility and empty space inside polyframe. So in this very process, you can see. So by building those kind of structure, like uneven and not like those, not a pre-made environment, the children can feel happiness as they solve problems on their own.
아니, 다 봐요. 자, 포디프레임을 개발하고 20년 가까이 운영하면서 힘들었던 것은 내가 깨달은 이 소중한 가치를 사람들이 이해를 잘 못했다는 것입니다.
The difficult thing while developing 포디프레임 and operating the program for nearly 20 years is that people do not understand this precious value that I have realized.
그 이유는 대부분 사람들이 실제 세계에 대한 경험 없이 오직 이상적인 조건만을 다루는 책과 컴퓨터 시뮬레이션으로만 공부했기 때문입니다.
The reason is that most people study only with books and computer simulations that covers only with ideal conditions without a real-world experience.
책과 컴퓨터로 배운 지식이 현실 세계에서 잘 작동할 것이라고 생각하면 포디프레임을 사용해 쉽게 구현하는 것의 가치를 잘 이해하지 못합니다. 다른 물성의 재료로는 이렇게 쉽게 구현하기가 어렵습니다.
The real value of polyframe can be best understood when you have the experience of something that works perfectly in documents but not in the real practice. It is difficult to materialize a certain imagination or notion this easily with materials with different physical properties.
우리가 아이들에게 가르쳐야 할 지식은 교과서 지식뿐만이 아니라 생각을 구현하는 실질적인 경험을 통해 세상의 미묘한 작동 원리를 이해하고 자신의 생각이 잘 맞지 않을 때 수정하고 보완하여 문제를 해결하는 창의적인 활동의 가치를 깨닫게 해주신 겁니다.
The knowledge we need to teach our children is not only from textbook, but also from creative activities that are worth realizing its value. To understand the subtle operating principles of the world through practical experience of implementing ideas, and to correct and edit when we face problems when their own thoughts does not work well.
네, 이것이 진정으로 행복한 삶의 질을 결정해 줍니다.
This truly determines the quality of a happy life.
우리가 살고 있는 세상은 단순하지 않으며 복잡계입니다. 따라서 이러한 복잡함을 매우 단순화하여 이해할 수 있는 상황을 만든 교과서의 내용은 실제 세계와 다릅니다.
The world we live in is not simple. It is a very complex system. Therefore, the contents of textbooks made by simplifying this complexity to a situation that can be understood well are a little bit different from the real world.
이러한 요인이 복합적으로 맞닥뜨리는 상황에서도 작동이 되도록 만들려면 실제 모형을 만들어 보고 작동되는지 안 되는지 왜 안 되는지 이유를 찾는 과정이 더 중요합니다.
In order to make it work even in a situation where several factors are complexly encountered, it is more important to make an actual model and find whether it works or not and the cause behind it as well.
지금까지 교육이 놓치고 있었던 부분이 바로 이것입니다. 세상의 이치를 책으로 배우는 것이 그치지 말고 직접 체험하고 놀면서 자연스럽게 문제를 해결하며 창의적으로 활동하면서 배우는 과정이 필요합니다.
This is what education has been missing so far. Learning just through textbooks is not enough. It is necessary to learn to play hands-on experience and by solving problems naturally and work with creativity.
포디 프레임은 바로 이를 위해서 개발이 되었습니다.
That is why Po디 Frame was born.
그래서 자, 제가 이제 마무리로 책을 하나 썼는데 얼마 전에 이북을 하나 만들었습니다. 더 관심 있는 사람들은 이렇게 참고하시면 좋겠습니다.
Recently, I have published an ebook which helps the better understanding of Podi Frame. So those who are interested in it, please join. Please, you can check this book on the following link as well.
감사합니다.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for listening.
Thank you. We had some questions from the audience.
Yes.
Yeah, it was Mr. Robert Reuter, I think. If you'd like to put your microphone on, you could put your question yourself, perhaps. He was asking
sure.
about how. Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. So I actually love your material. Let me say that first. It really looks great. It allows people, kids and adults, to be creative and productive in very generative ways. So you have a basic vocabulary, and from that you can build up like anything, like in a language. I was just wondering what material the 4D frame is made of. And how environmentally friendly is it? I think I understood that it's made from recycled plastic, but have you thought about what happens when people want to dispose of it? They no longer want to use it. Is it recyclable or is it just waste?
Oh,
thank you.
네, 지금 이 재료는 폴리프로필린 이런 재료고 재활용이 되는 거고 또 지금 우리가 플라스틱을 없애는 거는 줄이는 건 맞지만 지금 이 재활용되는 이 플라스틱을 하고 있습니다.
So our material is made of polypropylene, which is really similar, which is the same thing to like a water bottle or like plastic bottles. So we always think about like we always consider our availability to recycling. So we like just you have said, when people dispose it, they can be recycled and can have another cycle as well. Because become a new product.
So you were thinking of the microplastic leftover in the environment, I think, probably. Yeah. But I was thinking also it's the material, it can be reused many times in the same classroom. So that's the type of recycling too, that that the children can take it apart, whatever they made, as long as they haven't cut too much into it, and then they can reuse it many times for many years.
Yes,
so
before being disposed, it'll be reused many times. Before even being recycled, it'll be reused first a lot of times.
Exactly. Yeah.
There was Robert also made a very interesting connection between the 4D frame being sort of the third soil, as you describe it, and the thinking of around constructionism of Seymour Papert. Were you aware of Dr. Papert's work while you were thinking of this, or were you attempting to make those connections, or would you care to comment?
Oh,
I may not have asked that question very well.
oh, sorry. Oh, yeah.
I put the name here in the chat for Mr. Hogul Park. That's Seymour Papert, Dr. Papert's work that he was talking about. Were you aware of that?
You're talking to us?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. So you're talking about the chat room here? Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yes, and the ideas around constructionism that Dr. Papert outlined in the 20th century.
Oh, okay. So we went.
There seems to be a connection, and we were wondering if Mr. Park had were aware of his work before he started constructing 4D frame.
Okay. Okay. One moment, please. For the constructionism. I was thinking about the funded and how is this goes in Korean movement to the international stage. 그러니까 어떻게 해서 이제 뭐 되는가 생각해. constructionism. 저 모르는 개념이 나와가지고 지금.
No, I guess the answer is no, really. But we will certainly look into it. Yeah.
Yes. There certainly is a great deal of connection.
I think since this is a little bit complex question, I think we can email back to our question.
Yeah, that's
okay,
a good idea.
Please leave us your email address, and we can reply back to you once we have settled our answers.
Yeah.
Yes, sounds wonderful.
Thank you so much.
So
I don't know how much time we have, Christopher. There's another question about art. There's a learning goal in understanding a proper material use, that you understand which material to use. And the question is, does 4D frame projects consider this learning objective of using the right material? That's also a complicated question.
Yeah, so we're talking about Mr. Wolandari's question, right? Okay, there's a learning goal.
Because this material, I find, is artistic in the sense that it's so bendable and so applicable to different, so that the children use it in an artistic way, in the sense that they make it into their own thing, and that is what the artistic side.
Yes, I was translating the question in Korean.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. I was just trying to fill out.
And just while you do that, this is a part of the purpose of 4D frame is to allow that creativity to come through in use of other things. The material is somewhat fixed, of course, because it is the connectors and the straws, but there's so that does eliminate that one level of choice that might show up in that learning goal. But that learning goal will have to be achieved in other situations, I think, than what might be used in construction with 4D frames.
Yeah.
So 그러니까 이제 잠시만 다시 한번. So yeah, let me translate that briefly once again in Korean, and we're going to answer. Sorry for the delay. 네, 일단 네.
저는 이제 처음에는 그렇게 외형적인 결과를 만들었습니다. 결과는 멋있긴 하지만은 그걸 만들게 해가지고 많은 시행착오를 하잖아요. 그 과정을 겪게 되는데, 그 철이나 나무는 그거를 알면은 할 수가 있지만은 그거를 모르면은 할 수가 없습니다. 그래서 그거를 하기 위한 과정에서 4D 프레임을 제가 하고 있는 겁니다. 과정.
So actually,
이렇게 해보고 저렇게 해보고 다.
Actually, my original goal was to make a certain result, certain goal. But soon then of course I have used a lot of like iron and wood, those materials as well while I was in the career of modeling, like architecture modeling. But yeah, I realized that you need to fully understand the characteristics of each materials before in order to make a complete result, a desirable or like satisfiable result. So 4D frame, I have discovered and get to the idea of 4D frame while like researching and studying those materials.
네, 저는 그러니까 빨리 가려면은 그 과정을 생략하면은 빨리 갈 수가 있습니다. 그렇지만은 그거는 이제 공장에서 생산을 하기 위해서는 그런 게 필요하지만은 그 창의적인 거, 새로운 거 하려면 내 거를 하려면은 없는 걸 만들려면은 조건을 쉽게 바꿀 수 있어야 됩니다.
So we need to actually you can make a certain result when skipping the process, but what does that I don't think that's that meaningful. So I think we should focus on the process of while making a certain result as well. And so and so what I focused on was to focus on the process, and in order to make a certain result with the process, you need flexibility. You do need flexibility because in that process you will make mistakes anyway. Nobody can be perfect at the very first try. So 4D frame has considered that need of flexibility as well.
네, 저는 이게 전문가들은 그걸 과정 필요 없이 결과를 도달할 수 있지만은 우리 아이들은 모르기 때문에 여러 번 그 시행착오를 겪어야 되는데 아이들 입장에서는 쇠나 나무를 쉽게 다룰 수가 없습니다. 전문가는 할 수 있지만 그렇기 때문에 아이들이 쉽게 자기 생각을 구현할 수 있는 재료가 저는 필요했습니다.
Sure, beginners are like kids, you know. So all the common thing between beginners and kids are they don't know about the unknown material. So just like beginners, the kids need a flexible material to experience the whole process as well.
Yeah.
So that was my goal while developing 4D frame.
그리고 또 하나 제가 말씀드리고 싶은 거는 컴퓨터는 사실 눈으로 볼 수는 있지만은 거기에는 중력이 없기 때문에 물리적인 힘이 없기 때문에 이 컴퓨터에서는 가능한데 현실 세계에서 불가능한 것들이 굉장히 많습니다. 왜 현실 세계에서는 그 중력이 있기 때문에, 무게가 있기 때문에.
So and actually in the like simulation situation like which is done in a computer, you cannot feel the gravity actually, but in the real world we do have gravity like this. You can see it. Yeah, his pen falling down because of gravity. I wanted to let children feel about that without those computers and in the real world. 뭐 더 하실 말씀 있으신가요?
그리고 저는 우리 아이들이 아까도 처음에 말씀드렸지만은 내가 그림을 그리다가 잘못 그리면은 마음에 안 들면 지우개를 수정하고 다듬고 하면서 내가 원하는 결과물이 나올 때까지 하는 것처럼 공간상에서 자기가 생각하는 구체물을 잘 작동되고 원하는 모형을 만들 때 쉽게 수정할 수 있어야 된다고 저는 그래야지만 자기 걸 새로운 걸 만들 수 있다고 생각을 합니다.
So yeah, that's the process. So while doing the process, children will make the mistake and we need a flexibility to cover up and edit and correct those mistakes for our children to reach the goal while learning all those another aspects which can be seen in the process. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So there is another question. Are you aware of empirical research around the use of 4D frame?
Could you please come again? What kind of research?
Empirical, peer-reviewed, academic sort of research as to the impact of teaching with 4D frame or on learning and so on?
Okay, let me translate in Korean and we'll be back to you.
Okay.
Currently, there is a reason.
인도네시아도 계속 하고 있잖아요. 인도네시아.
그런 얘기 해줘. 인도네시아에서도요. 네. Currently, there's a research going on in the Korea National University of Education. So which is yet to be published yet, but we are doing a research. So there are some studies going on, and as well, and like Kristóf is aware of, we are doing a international project with Indonesian partners as well. So we are.
또 필립도 책을 썼잖아요. 그런 거.
So yes, I think yes. So like even not just inside Korea, but outside of Korea, like Indonesia and other countries, we will soon be able to get a academic result for the impact of educational impact of 4D frame as well. We'll let you know once the study is completed and our thesis and papers are coming out.
제가 조금 더 설명을 하면은 한국에서 제가 의미 있는 일은 우리가 시각장애인들을 위한 프로를 만들고 있고 저희 책도 지금 점자책으로 만들어져 가지고 한국에는 전국에 있는 시각장애인 도서관 점자 도서관에 이게 들어가 있다고.
어떤 책?
아니 4D 프레임 관련된 거.
And those instructions are made in, so we are in the process of writing, making the books for the visually impaired people, visually impaired people, to let them help experience our creativity learning process as well. And we are soon going to distribute the book into like libraries around Seoul and surrounding areas as well.
There are also, I'm aware of, to further answer the question about research, I am aware that Dr. Levica at Johannes Kepler University has had a number of studies that he has supervised, and so has Professor Hannu Salmi in Helsinki. So there are published papers on that are based in the 4D frame materials, and working with them and learning through them. So
very good. Are there any further questions now from the audience before we move on? Josephine writes here, it's very good to know how the idea is really working in schools in different contexts. The STEAM on special education needs aspect is very good on special education.
Yes.
Kristóf, you have your colleagues with you now, I see.
Yes, I truly hope so. I think they are here.
Tiina.
Yes, yes. You can also see that more and more people came in also during Mr. Park's talk. So it was good to see that these numbers are increasing, because I know that we had like almost 100 registrations. And I'm sure that many people will watch the recorded talk as well, because all these talks are documented here.
Yes.
Yes, very good. So we're a few minutes ahead of time, but would you like to start anyway, Kristóf, and introduce yourself?
Yeah, of course. I'm happy to say a few words, because I think we arrived to a milestone. I think this is the 10th STEAM seminar, and it seems that this idea from Mr. Park and for the frame office really found good sources all around here, because we had a quite decent number of participants all of these 10 occasions, and also to see the number of viewers of the recorded talks. This is also emerging and increasing, and I think all these talks become quite important resources in the STEAM field. Also, I'm happy to see people coming time by time, not only the moderators, but also other people like regular guests, I might say. Also, we made new friendships here in this community, and new connections. And I was also very happy that Mr. Park chosen this 10th occasion to finally introduce his own creation, his own research, which I think influence a lot of us in this community. So I'm also happy to keep some 4D frame always at hand with me. So this is something what we are also very eager to use in our university projects. We have a lot of STEAM projects going on now in Finland, together with my colleagues who are also here today. And 4D frame became like a gateway for many teachers and many students to explore multidisciplinary connections. And also, I think our moderators are very modest, maybe too modest persons, because Charlotte Graham and also Philip Longchamps, who was also seen in one of the videos, they are just coming out with a fantastic resource on sustainability in education. And I know that very many examples are also connected to the use of different modeling tools, hands-on tools, and of course 4D frame is one of the main character in this book, if I might say so. And actually Chris Brownell had this very modest question of are there any research? So he himself contributes to a lot of research about 4D frames. So of course he's very modest to add this, but it's good to be aware that. And also if you go to the Google Scholar, you will find a lot of resources, both for empirical research, both also for materials, and also many other kind of studies where this toolkit and also the STEAM frameworks around it are discussed from various angles. So I think I was talking already enough to fill the gap, and now it's time to start the second act of today. So we're really happy to be here together with my colleagues, Tiina Mäkelä from Finland. If you can highlight these speakers, I don't know if you can pin these speakers on the screen, you are welcome to do it. So Tiina Mäkelä is here from the Finnish Institute for Educational Research in the University of Jyväskylä, and also Gregorio Robles. Yes, Tiina is here, and Gregorio Robles is here from Spain, from the Universidad Carlos Rey, and also his team, at least I think David Cristian Chushig is here. And we are here today to discuss a big European Union funded project to promote and not only promote but implement computational thinking in everyday school practices. The coordinator of this project is the already mentioned Johannes Kepler University, Barbara Sabitzer, Heike Demarle-Meusel, and Marina Rottenhofer, and many colleagues. They will be introduced in the talk today, and actually they are also sent a video, so it will be like a mixed presentation, some live talks, and some videos in our session. So let me already share my screen, if the host allow me to share a screen. If I may get the possibility, the permission. Yes, I see myself, and I hope that I can share the screen soon. I still don't have the permission. Can you try? It can happen that there are two Kristóf Fenyvesis, I don't know, in the list. No.
Working on it.
Okay, you are working. Good. So, yeah, until the permission comes, let me tell that computational thinking is a very much discussed topic. Do I have the hope to get it, or should I send my presentation to someone?
Right now, why don't you send it to me, and then just in case I am not finding
okay, sorry
a way
about
to make it.
Yeah,
give you permission.
Yeah. Okay, just a moment. Yes.
Meanwhile, I can say hi.
Yes,
I will.
please.
Like greetings from Finland. It's a nice sunny autumn day here, and thank you for the presentation. I was happy to hear it, and as Kristóf already said, in Finland we are using lots of these materials, and actually we use it also in the professional development for teachers We just had one of the first sessions after COVID that we had it face to face with like 10 participants, and it was so nice. But it's difficult to work online, but when you're physically in one space with these construction tools, teachers were so excited when they constructed a football and using these tools, and we were reflecting how to use it in when teaching transversal competencies and how to connect different subjects such as physical education, geography, math, art, everything. So these are really nice tools, and it's so nice to see when the adults get them, they get so excited, more excited even than the kids, and it's a good way when teachers use them by themselves. Then they also we use this technique a lot, that we have a workshop that they have a role as a student or as a learner, and so they can feel how it feels like from the student perspective to use these tools. So we have had lots of fun with these tools.
Absolutely. And I have the happy news that meanwhile I received many permissions here. So I hope that you see our screen. So yes. I just started to tell that computational thinking is absolutely, I think, in the foreground of educational developments, and there are many tendencies we see to implement it more, but we really haven't seen so many sort of successful practice for this. So that was the origin of this project, to try to offer, to find out what kind of support we could offer also for the teachers, and how we could co-create together with the teachers and students new tools to implement new ideas, to implement computational thinking. And that's why we created this website, computationalthinking.guru. All these will be also shared, these links in the chat soon. And now our project was arriving to the end. So we are near maybe 1.5 months back to upload many more materials to the website, but we would like to call your attention already to these results, which you can already find, or which you will find within a few weeks in the website. So there will be also some sneak peek into different results. So in this presentation, we would like to present computational thinking, and especially modeling, which is a technical term from computer science, as a concept which can be proved to be very useful in learning actually not only ICT related topics, but any subjects. So if you think about how to use diagrams, how to use systematic approaches to learn complicated information, and how to learn difficult information, complex information, then actually this is the topic what we are talking about here, and what we would like to show you. So and through the help of modeling, we would like to foster 21st century skills, problem solving, and text comprehension in different subjects. And also, of course, these can be also good preparation for programming if you want, but that's not actually the overall goal of this approach, but more how to use this high-end, up-to-date tool, which is all around us in learning any kind of subjects, and also how to use it to connect different subjects in the STEM or STEAM integration. So you can see a few people of this fantastic team whom I was really happy to work together with in this project. So the head and initiator of this project was Professor Barbara Sabitzer, who has a specialty in neuropsychology and language learning, and also programming. And obviously she connected these approaches also in this project, and her fantastic team consisted of Heike Demarle-Meusel and Marina Rottenhofer, and their colleagues were really a fantastic asset for this project. And to mention also Gregorio Robles, who is a real expert of computational thinking and computational sciences. He's a professor of the Rey Juan Carlos University, and he has already very successful initiations like many programming tools made for education connected to his team. And Cristian David Chushig was also fantastic in the development of all the technical tools for this project. And of course, I was really glad to work in this project with my colleague, whom we run together a lot of STEAM projects. So Dr. Tiina Mäkelä from our unit from the University of Jyväskylä. These were the people in the core of this project. So as I mentioned, we have this website, computationalthinking.guru. You are welcome to check out, and you are also welcome to check back in the upcoming weeks time by time, because there are more and more materials will be uploaded. I would like to also invite you to our YouTube channel, where you can also find a growing number of very useful videos. Actually, these videos are in several languages, so in German, of course, Austrian, and also Spanish and Finnish, and also English materials you can find there. And please join this growing community on the Facebook. There are almost 400 people following Diagram Guru, so don't miss it. We hope that we can keep it alive also after this project has been closed. So innovative learning environments, this is the name of our team in the University of Jyväskylä. You can see my colleagues here, and also these mentioned STEAM projects are also outlined. So we are mostly concentrating on how to find connections between the physical and also the mental environments of learning, and how to use different tools and how to use different up-to-date approaches. So this computational thinking was really some diamond which was missing from our treasury, and it was really wonderful to add it with the help of this very relevant group. So you can see the map of Europe here, and also these countries which were collaborated. So we also happy to see that all other countries are also joining in to this initiation. And actually, if you check out the website, you will find also the structure of this project. You will find materials, you will find activity suggestions, and also a little bit theoretical background, which we found also missing, that what makes these different curricula all around Europe to be opened towards computational thinking. We at least try to make the first step into this direction, to explore this in terms of these countries. But I think there is a lot of job to be done also in the other countries, and we hope that this approach can also be a model in that. So mentioning this model and also the framework for this project, our main responsibility with my colleagues and especially Tiina Mäkelä, who is really a master of creating different frameworks and introducing various educational principles. So she led the work to create this modeling at school framework, which was really connected computational thinking concepts with the competence fields. She will talk more about this in her speech. And you can also check out this framework more in the website. And just to warm up a bit this scene before these upcoming talks, so we can see that computational modeling is in a wide range in complex systems all around us, from forecasting the weather, or if you want to build better vehicles, computational thinking is there. And also to see different complex processes around you, such as studying earthquakes, computational modeling is used, or even in your household, there are many machines around you which using computational modeling. Just your washing machine is definitely based on this approach. You can see this simplified model of a program from an everyday washing machine. But what about learning? How modeling can be used in learning? Tiina, could you say some words about what about schools?
Yeah. Thank you, Kristóf. Yeah, you can all hear me, I guess. Yeah.
Yes,
so,
we do.
Yeah. As Kristóf mentioned, I'm the frameworker. Actually, when we started with this project, I wasn't very familiar with modeling. My background is in humanistic sciences, languages, and history. But as Kristóf said, I like frameworks, and that's also kind of modeling, right? But here, the focus of this project has been how to use modeling in learning, how to use it as a tool for understanding, summarizing, presenting, memorizing different contents. And Kristóf already mentioned, but this work is very much related to learning 21st century skills. In European context, we talk about the key competencies for lifelong learning. Yeah, I think, Kristóf, you have to turn the slide, change the slide. The next, yeah. And so we've been investigating how all this relates to curricula, particularly in Europe, and how modeling and diagrams in particular can be used in teaching and learning as a powerful strategy. And nowadays, computational thinking, programming is also part of different curricula. At least in Finland, this is already integrated to our curricula, and teachers are very keen to understand how to teach these kind of concepts. If you go to the next slide. Yeah. So here you can, for those who are not familiar with this European key competencies for lifelong learning, here you can see, first you can see the key competence, and then what we were doing is we were connecting computational thinking and modeling and diagrams with different knowledge, skills, and attitudes related to key competencies. And we also created a connection between this and different school subjects, as you can see. Well, there are lots of examples in this presentation, but for instance, if we take literacy competence, you can use modeling when creating a storyline, or multilingual competence, learning different languages, you can practice grammar rules using modeling. Well, in mathematics competence, it's kind of natural that we use lots of different models. And if you go to the next slide, there's also competence in science, technology, and the one before. That competence in science, technology, and engineering, and also digital competence, they're kind of natural competencies when you work with modeling. Let's say different scientific rules and patterns, you need modeling. You can use modeling, or in robotics and programming, as already mentioned. But then modeling can also be used in let's say, in more softer skills, in personal and social competencies. For instance, problem solving is a part of also personal and social competencies, and learning to learn competencies related to these learning strategies that we already mentioned. And for instance, well, not in all countries, but in Finland and in German-speaking countries, we have this home economic subject where you might need to use cooking recipes. So you can use modeling for that, for creating a nice cooking recipe. Okay, then there's one more slide of these competencies: citizenship competence, different competencies related to history, geography, demography, climate change, and so on. In entrepreneurial competencies, for instance, you can use modeling for managing projects. And then in competencies such as cultural awareness and expression competence, for instance, if you create an artistic product, modeling and diagrams can serve for that. In the next slides, you have a bit more concrete examples of, and we focus particularly on diagrams, the different diagrams, and how different diagrams can be used to support learning different subjects and different topics. Here you have, for instance, this example of the grammar rules. When you study English, you might have difficulties in understanding the comparison of adjectives. So this shows how to, when it's a monosyllable or longer words, how to use different endings when comparing adjectives. Or in political education, maybe the House of Parliament, how it works, you might use these diagrams. So this is the activity diagram example. Then in the next slide, you have the use case diagram. For instance, for physical education, when you have to demonstrate what are the different actions or roles of the volleyball player or the trainer, or in economics, this example, I'm not sure if you can see them very well, they are quite small slides, but you can see the receptionist at the hotel and what are the responsibilities in relation to when working with the clients. So these were the use case diagrams. Then class and object diagrams, typically very useful for science learning. And for instance, here in the middle, you see the example from the geography, classifying different countries and their properties. Okay, then we have some more examples. Oh, by the way, in these examples, you can also see different ways to create these diagrams. You've seen like a post-its, or you can do it with the computer or drawings and so on. So you can see how it can be practiced with different techniques. This entity relationship diagram, here you have an example of the relationship between the sheep and the meadow and the what's that? I don't even see it by myself, the grass. So maybe for the primary school education. And the music education example is about different roles in a band. So these were some practical examples how diagrams can be used in different subjects. Maybe now, well, here you have, when we started working with these topics in Finnish schools, it was just the beginning of the COVID outbreak. So we thought it makes sense that we also deal with this topic using diagrams. Here you have one example of activity diagram in the case you suspect having coronavirus infection. This was in the beginning, in the spring 2020, and actually these instructions have changed millions of times. So it's not like that anymore, how we know the sudden changes, but this was the instructions in Finland at that moment when everything was still new. And then, Kristóf, you might put the video on. I could explain. So we had this introduction. We introduced different diagrams, and we were working with, for instance, with this COVID topic. And then we had one activity related to how to eat candies when there's a coronavirus. So this was related actually also robotics and like human robots. I'm not sure, Kristóf, if you.
Yes, I'm
yes.
starting that video right now. Just a moment. Yes, it will come here.
So you know, when giving instructions to robots, you have to think very carefully the step-by-step instructions. So that the kids, and we were able to still to go to school, and kids were thinking of this, creating these instructions as a group, how to wash their hands or use the disinfection, and how to open the paper, wrap the paper, and so on. And after that, the other group had to test whether these instructions actually work, whether they could complete the mission. They were also using the 3D printer at that moment, and actually they were making the toothbrush cases. So after eating candies, it's useful to brush your teeth. One of the, and well, actually, Kristóf was there physically in this workshop, and I was working from online with my robot. So we were also testing, connecting the actual real robots with this activity. So here you can see lots of fun with Post-it. Then when we couldn't go to school anymore, we really missed this physical workshops. You can actually draw and build things. So this is one example from Finland, and we have, as said, we've been having these workshops with teachers and their students, and also directly with teachers. Well, both cases serve for teachers as a professional development when they see how their kids work or when they do them by themselves. So these were the examples from Finland.
Thank you very much, Tiina. So if I may continue for a minute. These are some of the examples of these materials which we use to describe these activities, and this is actually an open material bank. So we also we're looking for to get more materials from the schools. But you can see also in this format a lot of examples which you can just take and realize in your classroom, in actually any kind of classrooms. That is also in the categories that which subject do we recommend to be connected, and some activities that are also multiple subjects listed there. So it's really welcome to implement in STEM or STEAM a concept in multidisciplinary learning. And let me use at least a minute for a very exciting program which might be continued also after this project. So we had a Diagram Guru challenge. So here we had this cat with this interesting diagram-based turban or whatever on her head, and she is a diagram guru, and she only talks the language of diagrams. So you can teach her anything. She's very clever, but only through diagrams. And in the Diagram Guru challenge, students were really eager to teach her about how to have the best day in your life, or how to use an equipment, or how to prepare for your favorite movies, and so many useful things in life. And for example, also to have the reality from the distance learning during COVID. So Diagram Guru Cat has been taught how is a day during COVID in life, and actually these wonderful diagrams are collected by the Johannes Kepler University team. So you can also see this joy and this energy what these students invested into create these wonderful diagrams. And you can see that it really goes beyond the expectation what we might had with this whole project. And also there were students who was really eager to teach how to make a good photo and how to modify it with Photoshop. So students really also used it for peer learning as well, and also to make fun, and also there were a lot of funny details in many of these, or what about that this cat would travel to Paris, how she would enjoy Paris, and many different topics you can see also from video games. So many more I could continue, but I think the best if I give now the floor to Gregorio Robles from Spain. I'm sure that he can't wait to jump on stage. Thank you a lot, Tiina. Thanks for the attention, and now the floor is yours, Gregorio.
Okay, thank you. I'm Gregorio Robles from the Universidad Rey Juan Carlos in Spain. Let me see if I can share my screen. And I have a small presentation for you. I guess you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see it.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. Perfect. Fantastic. So I would like to report a little bit on the Spanish experience from the project, because we went to the classrooms and tried this out with students. But first, I think our Finnish partners have given a good approach from the top, and now I'm going bottom up, because at the end, if you talk about models, the output are diagrams, and diagrams are a good idea. If you look at this diagram here, it expresses a software system. If you would have to do it in a natural language, that would be very much complicated than having it in a diagram. Even if you don't understand about software, or just with a few knowledge on software, you understand what is going here. So diagrams are good, but sometimes diagrams could be better. So if you look at this example here, this is a diagram where I found on the internet. It's very interesting because it shows a flow of somebody who goes from work to a meeting, and if you look at it, you need some time to understand it. So we know, okay, this is a diagram. We've seen diagrams are good, but then here this could be better. I mean, there's something here that could be enhanced, because you need probably 5 minutes to understand this diagram, and if we can do that in less time, then diagrams would certainly be better. Or this is another example. I as a non-native speaker, if you go, for instance, and to the US, and you're there in your car 90 miles per hour, and then you see this sign. And usually what happens, you don't understand anything, because you're traveling that fast that hey, what's wrong with this? This is the same. This is much better. Actually, all the sign what it was saying was something like this in the and that's the nice things of having here diagrams, and with a little bit of of standards. Actually, if you drive through China, we moved from the US now to China, and you see this sign, then everybody, even if you don't understand Chinese, everybody will stop. I guess it says stop there. I don't know any Chinese, but that's the good thing of diagrams. And if we go to standardization, we found they're widely known in computer science. We got a unified modeling language where we have different ways of specifying different types of diagrams. So the computer scientists have been thinking a lot of time about how to have diagrams and to solve all these problems about talking the same language, using the same type of diagrams, using the same type of shapes and so on. And then they have, as you see, this is a meta diagram. It's a diagram about diagrams, and they've found lots of types of diagrams. And so let me summarize. So if you have diagrams, you can abstract. No, you have to you have an idea and you have to write a diagram. Then you have to think about this idea, and usually you abstract. They help to communicate, because usually if you make a diagram good, you have this idea that you had in your head. You can, using the right shapes and forms, you can communicate to other people about your idea and clarify. A good diagram, sometimes they say an image is worth more than 1,000 words. Sometimes a diagram is worth more than the whole book, and that happens quite frequently, even with very complex, or I would say the other way, especially with very complex things, they clarify a lot. And then there are very interesting things for educational purposes. You can work very good in teams when working with diagrams, and that's even more than with text and so on. With diagrams, you will see some pictures, and you already saw the video, from Kristóf. You can work in teams. So, and they help transfer ideas and processes to other domains. They help summarize, remove redundancy. What's the important thing? Then you make a diagram of that. And diagrams are just, as I say, the output. Really the high level activity, the skill is modeling. So what you are doing is modeling, and the output is a diagram. No, it should be a proper diagram, but it's modeling. And this skill is very close to many of the skills that we try to promote when we promote computational thinking. We're talking about abstraction, about decomposition, about pattern recognition, even about having algorithms, because you can, you have seen in some examples, and I will show very briefly some examples where you see, you can here have a recipe, which is an algorithm for cooking. That's why we came together with our Austrian and Finnish partners and said, hey, this looks good. Let's try it out at school. And now, we got lucky because we got funded with an Erasmus Plus project. So we had some money to create materials, to test it. And as part of it, I want to present our experience testing it. We made the proposal before COVID. So our idea was to go to schools and see how our activities and materials were used in real scenarios. But then COVID came and we had to do it online. But here are the ideas. We create some resources. In this case, we create some ready-to-use videos and activities and guides for teachers. Then we promoted it because we had to do it online. So we were searching for teachers who wanted to introduce modeling in their classroom from all ages. And then we provided some support. We had some seminars and a mailing list, and we contacted them per email and per phone if they had problems and so on. And they had 6 weeks to work at schools with the models and with the activities and so on. We did a pre-test and a post-test because we wanted to have some scientific approach of all the proposal. And then we're in this phase where we are now looking and assessing our efforts. So as you see, we had some videos, some very short videos. They were thought really for primary school. So they show the concepts of modeling, which is very interesting because if you have studied computer science, usually modeling, they say this is for the master's level. So we are teaching modeling to primary school pupils. And as you see, we have very small, easy videos. They were focused on the Incredibles movie from Disney. And we had many participating schools, 17 in total from many regions in Spain. This is interesting because each region has its own educational path. So there are differences. So that means there's a diverse set of ages and educational environments that we were testing here. And then, well, you see here it's in Spanish, but you can see here this is a class diagram. This is the kids of the Incredibles, and then you see Violet, Dash, and Jack, and the age, the personality, and the superpower. And as you can see, in a very, even if you don't understand Spanish, you can see this is very structured and very, very simple. And actually, one of the things, it's easy or fast to translate. You can communicate very easy, and then if you translate the very few text, it's very understandable in any language. And this is a class diagram. That's one of the types of the diagrams. This is an activity diagram. Again, it's in Spanish, but you see here there is a process, and here something happens. This is a yes here, this is a no, and then things happen, and this is the start and the end. So as you see, with a very simple syntax, you can have a lot of expressive power here. So there were Blackboard activities at school. As you see here, this is the activity diagram there on the Blackboard. I was telling before, we could have group activities, and as you see, the kids had to do here some activities. These are the little bit younger kids, and then with the cards, they played together and saw how is here the process going on? How's the activity diagram? And we do it in groups, and we discuss it, and then the small groups, they did the same diagram, and then they compared to the other group and so on, and this was very, very interesting. And of course, this is now for the oldest ones. In the lab, there are many tools to create diagrams, so they worked in the lab with one of these online tools where you can create diagrams. At the end of the process, well, the kids did a post-test, and then they became a diploma, which they show here. So they were very happy about it. And here a little bit about the data that we gathered. As you see here, it's the age. So this is primaria, which is primary school. We have kids from 2nd to 6th primary school, and this is secondary school, the 4th year. These are the older ones. These are 15, 16-year-old. Here it's from 7 to 12. And as you see, you had a little bit of everything. Well, from primary school, the older ones were not that many. So we had in total over 500 students trying it, mostly, as you see here, orange, which is 4th, this is 10, 11, this is 11, 12 years. So that's the sample, the biggest share of the sample. Well, and here 11, 12, and so on. So that's the biggest sample that we have. And if you look at the pre and the post test, we had in the pre-test, in this test, we showed them things about modelings and about models and what they could see in diagrams and so on. And as you see after the intervention, they got all better. They got all better in all the type of questions. If you want more details, I can share you afterwards some details. I don't have time for that, but yeah, the kids improved in the sense of to know what modeling is, how models are used, the diagrams, and things like that. So it's a small intervention, but well, we wanted to test it. Interesting, or the most interesting thing is the feedback by the teachers themselves. So because I come from a computational thinking background, and usually we give teachers tools like Scratch or App Inventor and so on. So teachers usually are very scared of technology, of new things in their classroom. Sometimes they fear the kids know more than they do themselves. Here, we got the impression that teachers felt that they were playing at home, if I can use the soccer, how the soccer teams say. So they were thinking, this is what I do usually, and I feel that I know a lot about my subject, and this is just a way of working with my contents with different tools. So modeling is very nice because teachers are very good at abstraction, at putting these diagrams. So letting the students do the diagrams, they found it was fantastic, and they felt really confident in then assessing the diagrams and making the students go in the right direction. So if you see here in the Likert scale from 1 to 5, no, the 4s and the 5, no, even the ease of activities, fun, it's motivating, and they thought the students developed modeling skills. So they were, for us it was pretty surprising, because we thought modeling is more, yeah, the boring part. No, maybe we have a computer science background, and we think the nice part is always programming and so on, there where you have adrenaline and so on, and the students here, teachers and students, felt very, very nice with the modeling part. And this is when we asked at the end if they would do modeling again, and a majority of teachers, I mean, here, yes is blue, no is red, quizás is maybe. A big majority told you have to think these are self-selected teachers. This is not a random thing. But it was, for us, it was surprising, because it was our first test. We didn't know where this would go, and we thought this comes more from you always, when introducing something new at schools, there's risk, and we thought it would be more boring, but they were really enthusiastic about it. And we're talking about subjects that go from technology, maths, but also biology and history, things like that. So that's why we aim to see modeling everywhere. So if you have already seen Computational Thinking Guru, the website, so there you can find all our materials that we've done in English, German, Finnish, Spanish, some videos we know with subtitles to English, because teachers usually want it in the mother tongue, and some other ideas. So just visit the website, and I will happy to answer questions if you have. I don't know. Let me see if I have to stop sharing.
Thank you a lot, Gregorio.
Thank you.
It was wonderful. I suggest now that I start the video from the Austrian team who can't be here, and during that you will have time to check out all the chat line, and then we get ready for the discussion. All right. So I try to share my screen again.
I cannot stop sharing. I don't know if that's because I don't have permission.
Yeah, no problem. I think it will work from here. Just a moment. Yes, you see the video, I think. Yes. I will start it now. Okay.
A warm welcome to our session, Educational Pyramid Scheme, a sustainable way of bringing innovations to school. The Erasmus Plus project Modeling at School seeks to bring modeling as a teaching-learning strategy into schools. My colleagues have just given you an insight into our work. They have shown how we used modeling in example diagrams in the classroom to enhance students' learning. Through this approach, we promote computational thinking in both students and teachers. Now I would like to highlight another core part of our project, the EPS, the Educational Pyramid Scheme. My name is Heike Demarle-Meusel, and I am part of the team at Johannes Kepler University in Linz, Austria. When we start a project in cooperation with schools, we always face the same challenge. How do we manage to integrate the content into the school system in the long term? Many projects create great materials that can improve teaching. Quality training is provided for teachers on how to work with these materials. However, the long-term effects of these interventions are often small. With the EPS, we created a way how to implement innovations in schools sustainable and cost-effective. The EPS was designed based on the pyramid scheme from the economy, whereby we have eliminated the negative effects because our currency is knowledge, and knowledge increases the more you share it. Now I will give you an overview of the 5 main pillars of the EPS. The first 2 points I will explain in detail in the next slide because they are really important. We focus on different target groups and foster their collaboration. Our target groups are pupils, students, and teachers. To keep the extrinsic motivation high, it is important to implement a benefit system. The third pillar is that we provide continuous support to our partner schools. We offer weekly consultation hours, or we support our partner schools, example giving in organizing a theme day to make the topic known in their school. The didactical methods of the EPS are based on effective and brain-based learning techniques. According to the train-the-trainer principle, the individual stakeholders pass on their knowledge by training other people who in turn became a trainer themselves, and again spread their knowledge. Sharing knowledge and instruction others provide a deeper understanding of the content. The participants acquire skills in computational thinking and transfer the knowledge to others, as well as create materials. Creating materials is another core element of the EPS. So modeling as teaching and learning strategy can be spread within their own school and beyond. And this can foster the collaboration between different schools. What is really crucial of the success of the EPS is that participants have to implement the knowledge and skills mandatory in class. The application and practical implementation of new skills strengthen their competences in the field of computational thinking. Only in this way can theoretical knowledge be lived and the positive effects of modeling as a teaching and learning strategy can be achieved. Now let's have a look at the various functions in the EPS and the benefit system. We have different functions. You see it here. We have multipliers, mentors, and tutors. The main task of multipliers is to keep the EPS running. They are the engine for implementation. They win over students and teacher colleagues for the topic, convince the principal, and are the interface between us, the university, and the school. Our multipliers are really motivated, and the topic is very important to them, so they have a high intrinsic motivation. Nevertheless, we also offer benefits for them. At this point, I would like to say that the benefit system is variable and must be adapted to the framework conditions of the individual schools. The second one are the mentors. They are interested teachers and teacher students who implement modeling in the classroom together with the tutors. In our project, each mentor has 2 tutors, and they are working together and held little workshops in the class about modeling. The benefits, for example, besides learning a lot about computational thinking, are training units or ECTS credits. The tutors are pupils, and they held together with the mentors workshops in different classes or support other pupils in using modeling as teaching learning strategy. What the tutors benefit most from is that they learn to hold workshops and how to support other students in the sense of peer teaching. Benefits for external motivation are extra points for participation from the teacher or a certificate from the university in Austria in basic digital education. By the way, in Austria, it is mandatory to teach basic digital education in school. Now I would like to present our first results from focus interviews with 11 tutors and from the formative evaluation with our partner schools. The tutors named 3 conditions of success we should focus. They have to be an expert themselves before holding the workshop, so the input phase can be extended. They would like, a second point, to have more tips and tricks on how to hold a workshop. We should focus on this more as well in the input phase. And they would like to have, at the third point, more support from the multiplier regarding to the framework conditions to be able to implement the EPS. The overall feedback from our partner schools was very positive. They gained valuable experience and developed their own skills and abilities. and in sum they agree that the EPS is a practicable and efficient way to bring innovations to school. I hope you could gain a good insight into our work. I would like to thank you for your attention, and we look forward to your feedback and suggestions. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the Austrian team. And I think our session is over now. And my colleagues, Tiina, Mäkelä, Gregorio, Robles are also here to answer your questions and comments in the discussion. Thank you a lot for your attention.
Thank you, Kristóf.
Thank you, Kristóf, very much. Quite an excellent series of presentations there. I'm very impressed at how you're working to help to think through the process of problem solving and get to the core of how you work through things. That's very interesting. Are there questions from those in the in attendance?
I can't see any particular questions in the chat room. I can see some, a lot of people think it's very interesting work.
And I guess we were interested in finding more funding to collaborate with these topics. We had this discussion there, that, yeah, including the whole world, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but this is a topic that, like, countries around the world are introducing these topics to their curricula, so it's rather relevant, and we have good research going on in different countries, in different universities. So we would be happy to see possibilities to further collaborate.
Tiina, would you say that this Erasmus idea, where you collaborate in different European countries and everything, how does that bring an added value to that? It's from different countries. Have you noticed that you see things very differently, for example, or?
Yeah, I think it's maybe not in the research, but in the practical applications. Our countries are so different, and like what works in Austria maybe it doesn't work in Spain or in Finland. And then in addition, now recently we have had this COVID challenge, so we have to be very creative when implementing different things at schools. In Finland, for instance, sorry, that's my computer. In Finland, our experience is that teachers, they really like to embed these activities to their everyday life. So if we want to offer them something extra, or even the professional development, that they have to go away from their school, and it's complex. But so our experience, we really like to offer them an example session, for instance, that we go to school. We discuss with the teachers that what are the topics they are working, and then we try to integrate whatever we do with their everyday existing work. So for instance, this is a great strategy in Finland to get teachers involved, that we just go to support them, and yeah, while in other countries it might be different. There might be like, for instance, in other countries teachers need these different certificates for their professional development, but in Finland they don't really care about a piece of paper, but we don't get this kind of point. So you really have to plan these different sessions with teachers based on the system that you're working in each country.
Yeah.
You learn a lot, definitely.
I'm particularly intrigued by how you use the language differently around modeling and computational thinking than we do in the States. Modeling for us is largely connected with mathematical modeling, and computational thinking is coming into the vernacular, into our language through the the work of like Conrad Wolfram. Do you see connections between what you're doing and the type of computational thinking that the Maths Fix, the book by Conrad Wolfram a year ago, do you see any connections being made there? I see a few, but I'm wondering if you've seen others.
If Gregorio is here, maybe proper use of modeling concepts is mainly his cup of tea.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I can hear. So I have to say, yeah, I have a computer science background, so I use it. I use modeling, or I tried to evangelize modeling as it is done in computer science, and then maybe there is going to be a clash with how it is used in educational environments. I mean, in computer science, it goes far beyond than the mathematical models, which is by the way the first thing that most people think about it. So they in computer science, when they think about modeling, it's really we're talking about abstraction and communication, and then that's very tied to this UML language, which is out there for already 20 years, and as I say, one of the things. So this project started because I once visited Barbara in Austria during a conference, and then at the conference there was a session talking about how university students found modeling boring, and that this is a very high level mental activity and so on. So we should put it in the master's level and not undergraduate. And that was in the morning. And then during lunch, I visited Barbara, and then she was showing me she was using UML diagrams to teach languages to 6-year-old kids. And then I said, Barbara, we have to do something about it. And I guess Barbara comes more from the educational part. And here the interesting part of the project was more than the differences among countries, was the differences from between the perspectives that we have from modeling from where we come from, computer science and educational. And so I think I didn't answer your question, but you see there's some tension there, and yes, we still need to have definitions in both fields that match each other, because probably we're sometimes talking about different things when we say the same word about modeling. So but
I believe so. Like
yes. Yeah, I could. The whole thing with because we try to promote these ideas for everybody. So it's like me, myself, and Kristóf, and we are not representing the computer science. We don't understand too much about it, and the whole message to the teachers is to use this kind of logic. We don't have to have a perfect diagrams. We take the idea and we use it in other contexts. So this is like broadening the whole concept of, modeling is everywhere and mathematics is everywhere, and so you can use them in all subjects, and this is something we kind of the big message of our project. I think that you don't have to be afraid of these things. I think I was it by myself in the beginning when we started, like because if you represent different backgrounds, you might be afraid. So this is the big message. Don't be afraid of models and diagrams. They are just nice, and they don't have to be perfect. You can use them for many things.
Yes.
Perfect. Yes, I think we're nearly at the end of our session. I don't know if Mr. Park wants to say something else.
오늘 저기 10회 그 세미나 너무 덕분에 잘 끝난 것 같아서 너무 감사합니다.
Thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate your participation to everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you all. And we will see you in about a month.
So next month, okay. Oh, sorry to interrupt. Next month, we are going to have the ICAS conference. So on October 22nd,
Yes.
on Friday, October 22nd. So it will be streamed live on YouTube. So please join on the ICAS conference, and our special STEAM seminar will be back on November as usual.
Excellent.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so
Welcome to
much for
Finland.
joining
Thank you
us.
all. Thank you, Mr. Park.
Can you feel safe? Welcome to Finland.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Tiina.
you.
Bye-bye.
Welcome
Have a
and see you,
wonderful
Tiina.
day, and a wonderful night wherever you are.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.